Hey everybody, and welcome to Space Week Live for Sunday, September 20, 2020. This week marks the first birthday of Space Week. It's hard to believe a whole year has gone by since the first episode back on September 22nd, 2019, but gone by it has. Let's rewind for a second and take a trip down memory lane. Hey everybody, and welcome to Raw Space's very first Space Week summary for Sunday, September 22nd, 2019. Apologies if my voice is a little off today. My house has been hit by the plague and I wasn't spared. Although it's been a relatively quiet... How prophetic. If only I'd known then what 2020 had in store, I'd have stocked up on more toilet paper. I'm not sick today, but my allergies are killing me, so if I abruptly sneeze during the broadcast, I'm very sorry. If you have any questions, please hold them until the end. I can group them all together then. And when you do ask a question, please make sure to tag my name so that I see it in the chat amongst all of the other messages. So there's not much space news this week, so this should be quick. Last Monday, China launched a Long March 11 rocket with Gaofen 031, a group of 9 high-resolution Earth imaging satellites, Earth observation satellites. First launched in 2015, Long March 11, or Changzheng 11, is a small 4-stage solid propellant rocket based on a ballistic missile design. It can be launched on short notice, or it can be launched from a road vehicle or a ship. This mission launched from a 160-meter-long floating platform called DeVille 3. Unrelated fact, the actor who played DeVille on Friday, Tom Lister Jr., was born blind in his right eye. At first he thought it was a curse, but it became his trademark feature and helped his career out. Let's take a look at the launch. So pretty cool, a little scary because it looks a lot like an ICBM launch, which we should all fear. But somebody asked, let me see, Chris V asked in the chat, do you know how that rocket blasted out of the sleeve part before the main engine start? I'm not sure what sort of launch mechanism. I'm not sure what sort of launch mechanism those sorts of rockets have. I mean, Russia has some really fancy ones. They pop up and then some thrusters make them point sideways, and then like ship launched missiles or whatever. I'm not sure how they work. Pneumatics or something. Maybe there's like maybe it's like a plane taking off from the deck of a carrier. Maybe there's some sort of pneumatic system that basically throws the rocket straight up, and then the engine engages. But it'd be interesting to look into. This is only China's second successful sea launch. They've had some failures in the past, but this one seemed to work okay. Then on Thursday, SpaceX had to scrub their Starlink 12 launch due to rough seas in the recovery area where the drone ship hangs out. I'm not sure which drone ship was out there. Of course, I still love you, or just read the instructions. But there have been some storms out in the, what was it, Hurricane Sally, I guess, was kicking up some major waves, and so they had to scrub on both Thursday and Friday. And a new launch date has not yet been announced that I'm aware of. Once it is, I'll definitely let you know. And then that was it last week. There was only just the one launch, and then the scrub. Looking ahead to this week, in just a few hours, at 1:40 a.m. Eastern, 5:40 a.m. GMT, excuse me, so those allergies I was telling you about, a Chinese Long March 4B will launch the Haiyan 2C mission. Then early Saturday at 12:01 a.m. Eastern, 4:01 GMT, United Launch Alliance will make another attempt to launch their Delta IV Heavy rocket with the NROL mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. You may recall that a few weeks ago, the Delta IV Heavy was in the final moments, literally the final few seconds of the countdown to launch, and they had a hot fire abort. The fires were actually lit, but the engine had not yet been ignited, and there was an automatic shutdown, which saved the rocket, and the payload is fine. But so hopefully they've worked through those issues, and then this early Saturday they'll try again. But it made for some dramatic footage and a little awkward commentation. If you want to go back and watch that video, I don't have it queued up here, and I don't want to fumble around with it, but you should go check that out. Let's see. And that's it for this week. Those are the only launches this week. The Chinese launch and then the ULA launch. There is word of the SpaceX Starship SN 7.1 possibly having a test. I'm not sure if it's going to be a static fire or an actual launch, like a hover test, hop test, or a, what do they call the high hop or whatever when they go up a few miles. I am not sure, but keep your eye. Probably the best source of information because there's no official news from SpaceX about their progress on Starship, so we have to, scratch and claw for whatever tidbits we can glean from, from independent sources and observation of the Boca Chica facility. So head on over to Lab Padre channel, which I will link in the chat. Tippy tap. For the latest news. They have probably the best info on what's going on there because they have their eye on it all day, every day. So that's it for the news. Well, that's it for the space news. Now I do have some channel news, very exciting. So I've been mentioning for the past few weeks that the memberships feature. Here, let me switch to Biggie Cam. I've been mentioning for a few weeks that the memberships feature. Sorry about the green screen. That looks pretty bad. I got some toys for myself last week, including a pair of clamps that my LED light panels mount to, that attach to the shelves that are on the wall in front of me, so that I don't have to use these unwieldy mini tripod things that were taking up space on my computer desk. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I have the light levels quite perfected yet, so yeah, so anyway, there's some graininess showing up on the side of my shoulder here. Anywho, memberships. So I've been talking about the memberships feature in YouTube and how the channel was eligible for it, but I hadn't launched it yet. Well, in the past week, I launched it. So I got my ducks in a row, got all my configuration done of the membership tiers and the perks, and the one thing I did not do was make an official video introducing the feature. I'll do that at some point, but everybody in the chat already, all the regulars who show up in chat already know that that memberships were coming, and so it was no news to them. But yeah, so what memberships are, if you're not already familiar, is you pay a small monthly amount, a couple bucks or a few bucks a month to a channel to show your support, and in return, you get some cool toys. You get a little membership badge, which changes depending on how long you're a member. The new badge is the little awesome face emoji icon, but then in subsequent months, like 1 month, 2 months, etc., the icon will change to an awesome Earth, an awesome Mars, an awesome Jupiter, and finally, after a year, an awesome Sun. You also get custom emojis, which honestly is the #1 reason why I wanted the memberships feature, because I wanted those little custom emojis. And YouTube is stingy with them. They only give you a few to start out with, like 4, until you get a couple of members, and then you get a 5th and the 6th. Currently we have 7 custom emojis, but the more members we get, the more custom emojis we have. And so if you become a member, first of all, in order to become a member, you click, join. In order to become a member, you click the join button in the, in any video on the channel. And that gives you the option. So your name will appear in green, you'll get a membership badge, you'll be able to use the custom emojis, and you'll get the other perks such as early access to edited videos. Obviously, I can't give you early access to live videos, but as well as at the top tier, which is, so there are 3 tiers. There's the, what is it, $1.95 or $1.99, something like that. Are the Rawthlings, and then at $4.99 are the Rawstronauts, and then at $19.99 for the super dupers, those are the rock stars. So if you'll pardon the puns, I do enjoy them, but not necessary. I mean, it's not required, of course, but if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the channel, and you want to have some fun with the perks, feel free. The emojis themselves, in order to use them, you can either click the emoji button in the chat, the little smiley face, and you'll see the raw space emojis grouped like at the top of that listing of emojis. Or you can type the shortcut. I'm always punny, that's right. Or you can type the shortcut if you're on desktop, which is :raw, and that will show you them in a list. Or you can just type the emoji shortcut directly, like :dab. So there's there's dabbing astronaut. There's an angry old man yelling at the cloud, which is what we always do when there's a weather scrub, and so on. Anywho, without further ado, I would like to give a shout out to all of our new members this week. If I can figure out what the heck I'm doing. There we go. So this week we have MariaCKoutoudjian, who was our first member. Thank you very much to Maria. We have Microbyte Vax 11780, Dale Duncan, Warhawk me, Sonny DeVille, Tig Rahof, XZeno Raptor, Irna, Chris V, CATxDRAGON, and JD. And anybody who may have been added in the last few minutes since I took that screenshot. I am sorry, I'll definitely get you next week. But thank you very much to our new members. And yeah, so questions. Go ahead and ask away if you have any questions. Please make sure to tag my name in the chat, so I'm sure to see your question, although The chat isn't hopping too much right now, which is good for readability. Let's see. Let me scroll up and see if there are any pending questions. Okay, Sonny DeVille, thank you very much for that super sticker donation. JD, thank you very much for that that super chat donation. And JD actually became a member during this stream, as did Chris V. Very cool. Okay. Sonny DeVille. What a great community Rawspace has created for us. Thanks, Rawspace. I take little credit. I defer to y'all on that. Here, let me switch to Biggie Cam. Note to self: set up hotkeys for the scene switching. Are you kidding me? Okay. Sonny DeVille, say cheese, Rawspace. Cheese. Space Kitten complimented my haircut. Thank you very much. You are too kind, and by that I literally mean you are too kind. Sonny DeVille, congrats on your first anniversary of Space Week. Do you have any words for your fans? Thank you very much. I'm here for y'all. You know, I may not be the best expert on rocket technology or whatever, but I'm really passionate about the field of space, and I'm glad that we have this platform as you know, it's got its pluses and minuses, but I'm glad we have this platform that we can you know, share our common interest on. Anis Hamid asks, have you started using Starlink? No, unfortunately, it's not yet available for, I don't actually know if it's commercially active yet. I mean, they have over 700 satellites up there, but I don't know if they've actually, I think they're still in the testing phase. But I'm signed up for it. I signed up on their site, but I haven't received any news on it in a while. I mean, and I don't live in one of their initial testing areas. I don't live in Washington or the West Coast or whatever where they're doing their initial testing. Nor do I live in a rural area. I'm just a few miles outside of a big city, big-ish city. So we shall see. But I'm not using Starlink, but I hope to be able to sign up for it. Like even if it's not my primary internet provider, even if I still have my landline, you know, kind of sort of gigabit AT&T fiber, man, I would gladly pay for Starlink service because you can take it anywhere. You know, I could stream from a mountaintop in Tennessee, you know, or whatever. Killed me a bar when I was only 3. So, Sonny DeVille said Rawspace is apparently busy preparing for his show. Well, we've been in the show now for 31 minutes. Well, 21 minutes. So I'm not sure what that was a reference to. Rolvis Presley, very good, Space Kitten. Keep the puns coming. Chris V asks, how is my Tesla doing? So for those who aren't aware, I very proudly drive a Model 3, Tesla Model 3. It's great. It hasn't been getting much use in the past, well, half a year or more since the pandemic, but you know, when I drive it, it is amazing. Although it does have an issue sometimes with, sometimes it, like if I'm in autopilot mode, sometimes it thinks there's an obstacle or something in front of me, and it will abruptly hit the brakes, which is jarring, and that kind of ticks me off. But Tesla's products are always works in progress. That is, they roll out updates and enhancements, and so, you know, something that's glitchy this week may be fixed next week, and I'm sure they'll work through those, you know, logic issues in time. But yes, I love my car. Mark Desire asks, and by the way, thank you for staying up. It's a little late in Central Europe time, but will you be doing any video about the next solar flyby of the Parker Solar Probe, or about spacecraft going to other planets? I would like to. I love solar system missions. They don't often get as much sort of airtime as the launches, because a launch is a really, like, all or nothing, very dramatic event. You know, like there's a controlled explosion of tons and tons of you know, propulsive fuel, and there's always a chance for failure. And I mean, so, you know, launch, and plus launches are live, whereas a lot of times solar system missions, it takes time to receive the data, to process the data, to announce the analysis results of the data, and so on and so forth. You don't really see solar system missions live. Even like landings on Mars, we don't see live, because there's a time lag, you know, and we can't, like, remotely control the landing sequence or even the rover actions driving around on Mars, because you know, what we do is we package up groups of commands, we send it to the craft, and the craft executes those commands, and then we hope it worked. But yes, in answer to your question, I would like to do some videos about solar system missions. They definitely deserve it, because they're really, really amazing. Astronomy Films says Starlink will be focused on people who don't currently have internet access but really need it. So that is one of the stated goals of the Starlink project, is to provide quality internet service to underserved populations. You know, people who live in countries where there is not great internet access, or out in the sticks where there's not great internet access. Chris V asks, am I going to get an RTX 3080? That's NVIDIA's new video card. No, I don't think so. I invested a lot of money in my 2080 Ti, and I think I'll be sticking with it for a while. It does what I need it to do. But yeah, maybe in the future. Let's see. Oh, I should mention, there was also the news about Venus. I didn't have it in my notes, but there was the news about detecting some, was it fluorine? Some, hold on. You know what, let me... Chemical detected on Venus. Phosphine, that was it. Phosphine, a chemical usually associated with life on Earth, was detected in the Venusian atmosphere. And of course, the news outlets are going to turn that into, OMG, there's life on Venus. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, what we detected was a chemical, it was a chemical that we normally associate with life. But there are, you know, abiotic sources for a number of chemicals which on Earth we see produced by life. So, you know, it's an interesting data point, and it's something we should definitely investigate. We should, you know, come up with a mission to go to Venus and study it, but, you know, ease up on the alarm bells, because, because that's the right thing to do. And that's the way NASA works, is by collecting data and then with a level head, a very level head, analyzing it and seeing what it actually means rather than trying to inject our own, wild fantasies into the mix. Sonny DeVille says, do you have embarrassing spheres in your telescope? Do you need the Presto sphere deniers? Oh, yes. Everything in the universe is spherical, except for the Earth, which is on a turtle's back. MariaCKoutoudjian mentions the Starship SN 7.1 is expected, but the weather's not looking too great. We're having a lot of weather issues in the southeast United States right now. So, like, for example, it just rained for like 2 days straight here in North Carolina. But, yeah. So, I think that will wrap it up. Now, before I close out, I would like to remind you all to, you know what? Before I close out, I would like to remind you all to go subscribe. Whoops, my voice disappeared. Go subscribe to Astronomy Films, who's one of our moderators and does a great job of making short documentary-style videos about space history and space information with really cool music. So go subscribe to him. He deserves it. And in the meantime, have a great week. Hope to see you at the Saturday Delta IV Heavy launch if that happens. Kind of in the wee hours, but we can hope it doesn't get delayed again. And until next time, keep it raw and peace out, yo.